Hey guys, this is Jay Calder for JAYONBOXING here with a preview and predictions for the Gilberto Ramirez versus Chris Billam-Smith card. And as always, these are just my takes. Of course, your predictions, your take, your picks, all that stuff. Please leave it down in the comments section below. Love to hear them all. And of course, before we get started, please be sure to like, subscribe, share. Greatly appreciated. Obviously, I'm pretty sure some of you have at least noticed. Took a bit of time off. I had some health issues in terms of just being sick a couple of times and kind of just wanted to recharge the batteries, but back now, dropping some more content. We'll have some new interesting ideas coming, different types of videos as well, so be on the lookout for that. Of course, drop in the comments what kind of videos you'd like to see from me, maybe outside of some of the prediction content. Would love to help facilitate that as well, but in any event, let's get into the show info. The show is going to be headlined by Ramirez versus Billam-Smith, as mentioned. This will be at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, airing on DAZN in the United States and Sky Sports in the UK in the Cruiserweight division, with Ramirez's WBO Cruiserweight title and CBS's WBA Cruiserweight titles on the line. Also on the show, we'll be seeing another Ramirez and Jose Ramirez taking on Arnold Barboza and junior welterweight action with no title on the line. We'll also see Oscar COLLAZO taking on knockout CP FRESHMART. That is the name I'm going to go with here in the strawweight division, with the vacant Ring Magazine strawweight title on the line, as well as the WBO strawweight title held by COLLAZO and the WBA strawweight title held by FRESHMART on the line. Also, I will be covering very briefly here the ZEPEDA versus TEVIN Farmer card. This will be taking place at lightweight with no titles on the line. So, to be honest here, this is one of the better cards rounding out the end of the year. Sure, the main event is rightfully the fight that gets the most mention, the most attention. It's a unification bout at baby heavyweight that actually seems like a decent fight and a hard fight to call, and that's definitely going to be intriguing. Still, let us not sleep on the undercard or the card in total. The 4 fights I'll be covering feature 2 title fights, current or former world champions, and at least 2 of the fights have some pretty close odds. Still, with all that in mind, let's get into some of the more interesting questions heading into this show. The first question would be, who's the man to challenge JAYONBOXING? You know, at cruiserweight, the clear class seems to be JAYONBOXING. He has a shaky moment here or there, but he's that dude. Really, at this moment in time, there isn't a clear number 2. Is it CBS? Ramirez, maybe some dark horse? Well, this fight helps add a ton of clarity, if there's a winner anyway. Fun fact, if you're Opetaia, you're loving this fight. Opetaia is a fighter that needs a huge boxing market, but as an Aussie, he doesn't quite have that. Whoever wins brings Opetaia a massive market, either the British market with CBS or the Mexican-American market with Ramirez, a huge payday, and a legacy-building fight as well. He has to be sitting pretty solid right now. I would also ask, what does Ramirez have left? And that is, of course, Jose Ramirez. To be fair, that might seem a rough question to ask. You know, Ramirez has only lost once, he's only 32 years old, and it's not like he's been beaten up and destroyed. But he has also not looked so great as he kind of did pre-2020, since, 2020. Ramirez fought close with Jose Pedraza, has only stopped one fighter since 2020, and lost to Josh Taylor, who hasn't looked all that great himself. Not a great look. Also with Ramirez, during the prime years of his career, he fought once a year. Not great for staying sharp, and I'm a big believer in activity breeds consistency. So some might question if Arnold Barboza is legitimate, but he might just be catching Ramirez at a good time. Who knows? And finally, is Arnold Barboza for real? You know, as I sort of alluded to there, this is a real question. Barboza has at times seems like a threat at 140 pounds, but at other times, not so much. He doesn't always scintillate, and he looked rather average against Sean McComb, with many thinking Barboza actually lost that fight. So is he just not at that level? Or has he been fighting to the level of his opponent? Perhaps with a possibly slipping Ramirez, we may get some sense of where both guys are long-term with this result. Well, without much more ado, let's start breaking these fights down. Starting off with the main event in Zurdo Ramirez, at the new-ish weight for Ramirez, Zurdo seems to have some speed on his side, and against a sometimes plodding CBS, Ramirez should use his southpaw stance and that speed to his advantage. Circle to your right, duck under that left hand, and make him pay with your own. Simple, but when you have those edges, use them. I would also argue volume will have to be key. You have respectable pop at 200 pounds, but Billam-Smith is the puncher here. don't play that game. Instead, take your time. Make your overall shots count and wear his ass down. What you don't want to do is get into exchanges. Volume doesn't always equal trading bombs. It often means the opposite. It means getting off first and dictating the terms, moving out of reach before he can return fire. And of course, when you're setting up those terms and looking to hit and not be hit, movement, as mentioned, will be key. Switch up where and how you move as well to kind of keep him guessing. And like a woman that slaps you one day and says she loves you the next, never let him know your next move, okay? Don't neglect that body either. I would also mention before I finish up here, take that power from the naturally bigger man, level that playing field just a bit more. So use that speed, volume, move and stay off the ropes, and work that left hand as well as going to the body, and you should have some success. Now, switching over to Billam-Smith here, with Chris, pressure has to be the game. You need to make sure you are forcing Ramirez into a more grueling encounter. If it stays in the center of the ring, much too evenly fought, no. So push the Mexican back and get him against the ropes. Once he's backed up, make it count. Yes, tag him upstairs, of course, and that's going to definitely help with that cruiserweight power, but don't neglect that body. Slow him down and make his movement much harder. Well, you want to pressure Ramirez. Don't assume he can't punch at the weight, by the way. It's not just about size, as many of my exes will tell you. He can crack a bit. Still, you can take some of that power away by pushing him back, not letting him set, and attacking that body. Yes, you should both go to the body for slightly different reasons, but you would both benefit. When trying to close that distance, of course, the shot for that might be that right hand down the middle. It's a shot you throw well, it's obvious, and it does well against southpaws. Should be pretty obvious here. Use some feints or a jab to also set it up, then unload. Definitely going to be successful for you. So press your man back, get him cornered, attack the body, and get the right hand going, and it should serve you well. Now, in terms of my pick here, it's a tight one, but I think the speed and movement of Ramirez will push him through a close fight. If CBS can catch him, of course, he has a real shot, but I think Ramirez is confident that the weight is growing. He'll use his skills and stay out of harm's way when possible. The speed, the combinations, and the left hand that CBS won't be able to time will allow Ramirez to pick up those close rounds and make sure that he gets a nod going down the stretch. Winner, Gilberto Ramirez via split decision. Now, heading into the co-featured bout of the evening, we have the other Ramirez and Jose, and we'll start with him. For Ramirez, you want to apply smart pressure. Don't walk in for the sake of it. Have a point, a purpose. Cut the ring off and look to walk him into corners. While doing that, yes, you want to stay busy, but again, not for the sake of it. Throw those straighter shots from the outside, hooking from time to time if Barboza looks to circle, and attack the body in close. A strong power jab should also be used. Don't flick it out. This fight should be about purposeful decisions for Ramirez. Throw the jab like you mean it. Now, your last name is Ramirez. Obviously, throw the left hook. It's kind of a law. But do it when it's off the jab or feinting a jab or going to the body when in close. Don't leave yourself exposed to throwing it too far out or from disadvantageous positions. So time the jab and left hook. Use intelligent attacking altogether and mix it in with an approach that allows you to build into the fight as you go on, and you should do well. Now switching over to Barboza. For Barboza, I think keeping your shots straight makes a lot of sense. Ramirez is looking to hook, and hook with power. Beat him to the punch and do it from further out. Doesn't mean you have to stay outside. You can move in and out pretty well, so do so. Make him think you're committing and walk him into those shots, but be aggressive when it suits you. A shot you should focus on, of course, is the right hand, but throwing it as a lead should be an option as well. Just kind of catches him off guard and gives him different looks to think about. And all this can help you win some of those closer rounds, doing more of that kind of eye-catching stuff that lands cleaner and can be a bit more, let's say, interesting to the judges. And I think some of these rounds might be close, so that could be key. So keep those shots straight, down the line and move in and out, land that right hand down the middle to try and vary it up, pick up those closer frames, and it should serve you well in this fight. Now, if it turns on my pick here, this is another tough one for me. Is Ramirez just a level above the unproven Barboza, or is Arnold catching Jose at just the right time? At this point, I'm thinking the latter in a bit of an upset. I think Barboza puts in his best performance, keeps his shots long and quick, and frustrates a slipping, inactive Ramirez. Maybe close down the stretch, but the earlier work of Barboza will carry him through. Winner, Arnold Barboza via unanimous decision. And in terms of my quick picks here, we have Oscar COLLAZO taking out knockout CP FRESHMART again at the strawweight division with a couple of different belts on the line. Not sure about the odds for this one just yet, but I'm rolling with what I think will be called an upset in CP FRESHMART. I think his tight defense and timing plus his countering will catch COLLAZO and drop him. He might not finish him off, but it allows for FRESHMART to finish the fight strong and pick up a somewhat shocking decision. Winner, knockout CP FRESHMART via unanimous decision. And in the final fight here, we have ZEPEDA taking on TEVIN Farmer at 135 pounds. You know, maybe a few years back, I can see Farmer being a tougher test. However, ZEPEDA is rolling, and Farmer has fought only 4 times in 4 years and lost one of those fights. His most recent fight at that. Just not very active, and again, not a big fan of inactivity. ZEPEDA walks him down, breaks him down, and gets the stoppage in those middle to late frames. Winner, ZEPEDA via, I'll go late fight stoppage. Now, in terms of the betting odds here, as you can see laid out, we have the betting odds for the 2 biggest fights on the card, of course. Interesting odds, in my opinion. Again, they're pretty close. I do like the under in the main event because it is a cruiserweight bout and you just don't know what could happen, especially if Billam-Smith pulls off the upset. You're getting 1.5 to 1 odds. That's not too bad in your favor. Of course, if you like Billam-Smith, you're getting 2 to 1. That's definitely an option as well, but that's kind of what I would probably target with these 2 sets. Of course, as a person picking Barboza, plus 165 also an intriguing option, but in general, these are close fights, so it kind of just depends on where you fall. You're getting pretty decent value either way. But in any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of this recording is 43-17 with 22 exact. But let me know your thoughts, your bets, your picks, all that good stuff down in the comments. And of course, check out the social media up top. Check out JAYONBOXING.com, subscribe, and check out another video here. Until next time.